every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionique provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionique. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Hello, it's Karl. I'm just back from Anfield. I am in my mum's house in West Derby, about 3 miles away from Anfield. I walked there today and I walked back. And I did record some thoughts about the game, about what happened at Anfield today. But you can't walk and record on a phone using just your phone when there's wind of any description whatsoever. So I'm going to try again from the safety of indoors. So I've just witnessed Liverpool 3, Southampton 1. The first thing I'd like to say is just how much I enjoyed the fact that after You'll Never Walk Alone today, there was a song for the goalkeeper, Alisson, because people thought, rightly, there's probably not going to be that much Alisson content today going on. It might be a bit busier on Tuesday. But that was really, very nice. It was like a little thank you from what he did for us midweek. He's the greatest goalkeeper in the world. I like Courtois. I'm not having the Ederson thing at all. But the best goalkeeper in the world plays for Liverpool, and that's just a wonderful thing. So always happy to sing that man's name, and very aggressively. In fact, the Kop was very, very raucous today. I'm one of the people who's been lucky enough to be in all four stands more than a dozen times each, probably more than, I don't know, a fair bit. But it was very, very loud Kop. And Liverpool didn't really get going. There was lots of sort of passing around the ball around between the back and the midfield. And the forward line wasn't great. There was not much energy going on. I thought Diaz in the first half was absolutely bloody awful. I really did. I didn't even know Núñez was playing. He just didn't get on the... He tried that weird overhead kick from about a foot off the ground. And that was about it. And Mo was just, apart from one gorgeous ball from Trent, Mo was quite quiet as well. And we go in a goal down. And it's important to recognise this, I think, about Southampton. There's a very strong argument to say in the first half they deserved it. They were the better team. They were more direct. I thought they used the ball really well. They used the space, which wasn't easy because Liverpool were very good at holding the ball and keeping possession. And they just used it. When they got it, they used it well, and they were cutting behind. And I thought their underlapping was particularly good today. And they get the goal and go in a goal. They're leading at Anfield. It's funny because I was with my mate. I was with quite a few mates today. My mate Steve, and we were saying, is it done yet? Is the league done yet? And he's like, yeah, of course it's done. And then I saw him at half time, and he said to me, "This league might not be done." And again, after the match, I was in the Glenbook with my mates Andrew and Paul, and Andrew was singing, "We're going to win the league." And Paul shouted across to him, "We might win the league." And I think that's where you all know at this club. You're either thinking, well, that's it, it's done, or Arsenal going to get over 70 points, I don't know. We might win the league, but we're not saying that. But at half-time, we weren't going to win the league, but that's not how you go about winning the league. Liverpool were just really, really flat. The goal's just a joke, to be honest. And the thing about Southampton, for me, more than anything else, is I think one of the crucial lessons Arne Slot's learned, and I think it's as vital as that, because he's mentioned it before, is in the Dutch league, the top club can host the bottom club and win pretty easily, pretty quickly. And you can't do that in this league. You can't do it. We played Southampton twice already, once at their place and again in the League Cup. And they gave us a game, and they're possibly going to be the least successful. I think Derby County still had fewer points than they did, but they're going to be one of the worst teams point-wise to play in the Premier League. And they led at Anfield, and they deserved to leave at Anfield because Liverpool were flat, and Liverpool were tired, and it wasn't going our way. And it was just, I think that's one thing that separates this league from anywhere else. Whereas I think in most of the leagues, if a top club goes to a lower club, you know what's going to happen. I don't think you always know that, and this league's shown that repeatedly. That look what happens at the City Ground today. It's just, if you said to the start of the season that Forest are going to beat Man City fairly comfortably, I thought, that's just nuts. And Nottingham Forest, who you'd say bottom six at the start of the season, are now vying for the championship, for top four with Arsenal, which I'll come back to that. But we come out in the second half, and Liverpool's angry, Anfield is angry, the Kop was angry, and it was lovely to see it, because we're not sticking for this, because we genuinely were so flat. I mean, we were talking about who we'd take off at half time, and I straight away went Diaz. Well done, Karl. He practically wins the game because he sets up the first goal. I would have taken off Nunez, mostly because of the red card thing, to be honest. And I'll be honest, I know people love him. I think he's a bloody idiot. I really do. But then again, in the past week, Darwin Nunez has set up a goal, arguably the most important goal in the season so far in Paris. He scores the first goal, and he sets up the penalty to make it 2-1, and Liverpool are flying after that. And yet he absolutely does my head in. And whether his contribution... do you know what? Don't shush the away fans. Don't do that. It's stupid. And yet he does do that. And even before he scored, I was thinking, what do you do with Darwin Nunez? Because he's given me such moments. The last minute goal against Forest last season, bearing in mind I'm not a big fan of theirs, I'm already thinking about, I might make the statue myself. He deserves it for that. The goal he scores against Bournemouth, the Brentford goals, and the Newcastle and things like that. And he does that in Paris in the week. But he's going to do my head in so often, and I think that's just going to happen because I don't think he's got a footballing brain. But basically, we won the game because of him today, and that's why we come out in the second half, and he takes off Szoboszlai, takes off Jones, he takes off Tsimikas. Tsimikas is on a booking, which leads me incidentally to what the hell was Luis Diaz doing just before Tsimikas got booked, and quite correctly booked. There's no argument there. He's running away from the ball, and the ball's behind him, and he's not noticed. And it's not only that. I said to him, another mate in the pub today, he should be breaking with that ball. He's not paying attention, and that's why I thought, well, I'm taking you off for that. That you can't have that. I know the manager isn't on the bench, but he's in the stand and stuff like that. But I would have been in his ear the second he sat down in his dressing room about that. So he takes them off, and he brings on McAllister. Any other club would have him as player of the season already. To be honest, it's difficult because we've got so many. And he brings on Robertson, and he brings on Harvey Elliott. And what that demonstrated today, more than anything, was just the quality of this league. It's just the quality of this team. I mean, Harvey Elliott was fantastic, and I'm in a sort of slump with Harvey Elliott and Diogo Jota. And I know it's ridiculous, but people just have these peccadillos. I'm annoyed with him and Jota because they were so bad against Plymouth, and thinking you don't get to do that. And Harvey Elliott was fantastic today. He was just really, really front foot. I mean, McAllister, I like Szoboszlai, I like Curtis Jones a hell of a lot. And I know not everyone does, but God, I think he's a fantastic player. But Alexis McAllister, he's just clever, he's bright, he's so resourceful as a player that straight away it's like having an extra pair of legs in midfield. But more than anything, and this isn't going to be popular, but I don't care because Liverpool have just won, and I've got a Chinese coming. That's Andy Robertson. Andy Robertson is I get the arguments. He's old and now he's slower. He was magnificent in Paris. He really was. He was just such a wise head. Like, there's times when all I wanted to do is blam it up the pitch and get it away from our penalty area, and he just foot on the ball, rolled it. We went out that way. And today, it was the opposite from him, really. He was just so front foot. If he doesn't score if Nunez doesn't score the first goal, he does, because he's standing next to him, and he's the left back. I thought he was absolutely first class today. He probably wasn't in the manager's mind to give him any time whatsoever today. But I'm so glad he did, just because he rolled back the years, and he's been doing that a bit lately. I'd start him at Wembley, I just would, depending on what happens on Tuesday. But I thought they were excellent. All three subs were excellent. But more than that, the crowd today was loud. I mean, properly loud. It was an Anfield that was expectant of, because normally, and this happened. Normally, if something bad happens, the crowd can get on your back. And the cop turned after the very, very silly Southampton goal, and people were angry, and I was fine with them being angry, because I was as well. But I also said to my mates at half time, and I'm not just saying this because, aren't I great? I said, we've won this, because this takes one goal, and one goal becomes two. And it was great to see that happen. If you get a chance to look at the goals again, I beg you to look at Ibu Konate for the second penalty, where he basically just goes on his haunches and screams like it means the world. I've talked to some my mate Neil about this in the pub. I love the fact that when something good happens on the pitch, Virgil van Dijk puts both arms above his head. I love that, and it's sort of, yes, that's what we're doing, even if it didn't work. The passion in that team to get this thing done is just incredible. But at the weird stage of the season now, where people are thinking it's done, to such an extent where two of my mates could shout, we're going to win the league, followed by, we might win the league. My other mate Steve to say it's done, and then said, actually, can I revise that opinion at half time? When we looked fairly poor. It's a strange part of the season, because dropping points now is bad. We are 16 points clear. We're 16 points clear of Arsenal, but that could be, let's call it 10, because they've got 2 games in hand, and one of them's United. But what is significant for me is not just the fact that we won today, not just the fact that we are now guaranteed a top half finish. Yes, I worked it out, because Crystal Palace and Brentford can't win the league. What is significant for me is that no matter what happens tomorrow, Arsenal cannot win the weekend. It's another game gone where they haven't clawed back a point, because Liverpool have done the business their end. And that's such an important thing for me, because it just takes away another possibility more than anything else, to such an extent that, and I don't know if this has happened already, regardless of what Mikel Arteta says, and I'm not going to slag Arteta, I don't mind him that much, I think he's just a bit weird. I think it's really important that the conversation in Arsenal heads changes to, right, we've got to get second. We've got to get second. We can't let Forest in, because that's nuts that Nottingham Forest could be runners up. And the 1978 me is not very happy with that. It's mad that Man City are talking about top 4 now. I've got a mate, Jason. I'm going to name check him here, because he's had a hell of a time. He's a proper City fan. He's been going long before they went down to the 3rd division, and he's here now, and he's had a bad time. I've talked to him beforehand, and I said, I still think there's a chance you finish second. And after their game, he messaged me and said, lads, we're looking at top 4. And it's ridiculous, and top 4 is now a win, and that's the season we're having. But more than anything, I want Arsenal to start thinking, we had a great win today because we got above Forest. Like, Liverpool and the league aren't even in their heads, because what's the bloody point? That's what I want today. And Liverpool winning today, Liverpool beating Southampton and being behind at Southampton and coming back and winning another 2 goals for Mo. The most significant thing for that is we're just a step closer, because we're 10 points clear. A bad derby, and suddenly it's 7 and we've got to play Arsenal. And then if that was us, I'd fancy it. But all you can do is win your battles. And in the first half today, Liverpool didn't, because Liverpool didn't really know what the battle was, and then we did. Where does this leave us for Tuesday? Tighter, probably. But I know PSG rested some players. I think they played today. I've read this somewhere. You've got to take care of games like this. And I've got a lot of time for Southampton, as much as my first ever game at Anfield back in 1981, kids, imagine that, was Liverpool-Southampton. Liverpool lost in the last 3 minutes, I think it was. So it's always nice to go to this game. And I was at the Cop, so I couldn't hear their fans, because I don't always get on when I go to Southampton away. It's such a big win, this, and it's one that you'll watch the DVD or whatever at the end of the season, think, oh, yeah, the 2 penalties, yeah. and you won't remember anything else about it. In the same way that I can very rarely remember what happened in the Fulham game, other than that we were losing and down to 10 men. So I can't remember much about anything else about it at all. But these are the games where you've just got to click them off. You just got to get the point. You've just got to work at it and work at it and work at it. Because wherever Liverpool are in the season, it's always the biggest week of the season. And bearing in mind, we had the biggest win at one of the season where we had to play Chelsea and I think Leipzig. And then maybe City straight after that. I can't remember what their game was. That was Arsenal, I think. No, we've just had to. We've got 5 games in 15 days. What do we do about this? So much so that we've done a show about it on here, and now it's PSG, followed by Newcastle, and then there's a derby coming up. These are the games you've got to take care of, and we did it today. And I'm so pleased that Arne Slot is our manager. I'm so glad that Arne is a Red, because I just think he's just taken the edge off everything. He's really learning about the league and he's adapting it from winning position. And Liverpool weren't great today. I really don't think we were fantastic, but the crowd were great, really good. But we got it over the line, and it's a weekend where Arsenal can't go above us. And I'm saying this at 10 to 8 on a Saturday night, and I've got a Chinese coming. So I'm going to go and listen to that, and I'm going to go and eat that now. Up the Reds.
This podcast is part of the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network bringing you exclusive daily news and views on your Premier League team, the Premier League, women's football and fantasy football. A unique listening experience that puts fans first, bringing you the very latest breaking news from your team. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and make us your first listen every day. Global Sports Podcast Network. Every club, every day.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.